Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to an impromptu review of Banana Republic Oud Mosaic. So I stopped by my local library. I was like, let's just knock this out. I was working late. This is a glass room that normally uses sunlight, so I apologize about the lighting. But like I said, we're going to be looking at this Banana Republic Oud Mosaic. And this is a fragrance that intrigues me because one of my favorite fragrances is El Dorado Kingdom. And if you're familiar with that cheapie, it's a really good, potent cheapie. This is not quite as cheap, but I want to start off by saying, like, Banana Republic came out with these lines about a couple years ago, and they're really good. And one thing I will say is that they are 2.5 ounces. So you're not getting them on 100 milliliters, which is actually a good sign to me. And they're in understated glass containers like this. So they're not trying to do a ton of colorful packaging. This is very classy, understated. The box slides out. It is durable, I will say that. And the atomizer is pretty good on these. So I would say it's like mid-range. It's not as good as the ones on the Chimera fragrances, but it's good. And the reason why I say that 2.5 milliliters is good because they give you more quality in these than you would get in a lot of other cheapies. I would say this is a mid-tier fragrance. I wouldn't even call it a cheapie, and so are the others in this line. I mean, this lasts from like 6 to 7 hours on your skin. It's not a projection beast, so I'll just jump into it. But you can just tell by just the design and the way they put this out, you know, with this cap is metal. It's not magnetic, but this has a good weight. This is a solid glass bottle, so it's definitely not a cheap presentation. It's kind of minimalist, but it's not cheap. And so I'll just get into the notes with this. Like I said, with El Dorado Kingdom, I really like it, and it has an oud note. So I know oud is kind of polarizing, but I think in the right setting, it is good. This is not a fragrance I would say is unisex. A woman can wear it, but it doesn't smell very feminine to me. I wouldn't be thrown off thinking she's wearing like something ultra masculine, but to me, especially when you initially spray it, it does smell more masculine than feminine. In my opinion, I think as it dries down, it gets a little sweeter. It's not the most playful fragrance. I don't know, just to my nose, it does not smell like a woman's fragrance at all. I'll get into the notes, and I am wearing my AirPods just because there's a bit of an echo in here. I'll show you. This is the lighting that I'm working with here, and this is kind of the exterior of this room. It's pretty dope. I mean, this is a pretty dope library downtown, but you know, at any rate, the lighting's not great. So the top notes are plum, cardamom, white pepper, and then the mid notes are Turkish rose, saffron, labdanum, and then the base notes are oud or garwood, amber, and then musk. And so to me, and I've heard other reviewers say this fragrance is pretty linear. So I do smell, when I spray this, I do smell the rose, the white pepper, and the oud kind of stand out the most to me. When you initially spray it, I don't get the amber note as much, but when it dries down, the amber and musk, you know, make it a little bit softer, a little bit sweeter to me. And when I say dry down, I mean probably after about 15 minutes, it starts to settle in where it's not as strong. So it's not the most playful fragrance, if I'm being honest. And I wouldn't wear it in a casual setting, like a brunch kind of setting, or if you like, you know, work in a place that you kind of dress casual, probably not the best. I would say formal, semi-formal occasion. I mean, you could wear it to church or some kind of after 5 thing. Looking at the notes, I mean, there's no citrus in it, which is fine. You know, I don't really pick up on the rose as much, the plum as much. It is in there, but I feel like the rose and oud and amber amber stick out to me the most. And I don't have the most, discerning nose, that kind of thing. But this is a good fragrance. It's worth picking up. I picked this up for $20 at Burlington. I would probably pay $30, $35 for this fragrance. Like I said, it lasts 6 to 7 hours. It's not a projection beast, but if you're going out on a date, or it's not like a party fragrance, or if you're going out to maybe like the theater, or you're going to see a play or something like that, this would be a good fragrance. It's definitely worth a pickup. It doesn't smell like your typical fragrances that have a ton of citrus notes. It's not fruity fresh, and it doesn't have tonka bean. So a ton of modern fragrances that are, not super ultra shower gel freshy have tonka bean in it. This does not have tonka bean. This doesn't have citrus in it. It doesn't have mint. I would say this is a more mature fragrance. It doesn't smell like an old man, but it's definitely not something that you smell all the time, especially with the oud. I'm not an oud person, so I couldn't tell you where it falls on natural versus synthetic oud. It's not off-putting. I think you would get compliments on that. Wearing it to work every day, like if you wear a tie to work, yes, but if you wear jeans and a t-shirt, probably not. I mean, you can do what you want to do, but I wouldn't say this is a fragrance for like a teenager or anything like that. But yeah, this is definitely a quality fragrance, and I love the presentation here on these fragrances, and the fact that you get a little bit less. You don't get 100 milliliters, and you pay a little bit more than the $15, $16 you find at normal rack stores, but the quality is there. This doesn't smell like a cheap fragrance. It smells like it's blended well. It is a little bit more linear. It doesn't really develop and change throughout its life. Like I said, it does start a little bit stronger. You might give it about 15 minutes to settle down, and then to me it's a little bit more pleasant. It's a little bit sweeter. You kind of smell more of the palette that it offers. But yeah, overall this is definitely a worthy pickup, and just something that you can use to diversify your collection. I've said this in previous videos, but a lot of times we kind of gravitate to certain notes and fragrances and things like that. But if you don't have an oud fragrance that has rose and plum, I love those notes, by the way, especially rose and plum. I would definitely pick this one up. Now, this one will probably grow on me. This isn't one that I spray immediately and I'm like, oh, I'm in love. But I will say, I probably like El Dorado Kingdom a little bit better. It's a different fragrance, but I like the spicy incense notes in that fragrance, as well as the oud. And I don't know, it's just so balanced to where it smells fresh, but then it smells mature and sophisticated at the same time. So it's not like a shower jelly vibe. So I would choose that one over this one, but I mean, you're not breaking the bank by having both, and you can probably find this one more readily available. So if you need kind of like a non-casual scent that you can wear out on dates and things like that, I would buy it. I mean, worst case scenario, if you don't like it, you could give it to a friend, you could resell it, whatever, but definitely worth $25, $35, $20. All right, now last thing I'll say about these fragrances is that they're good quality also because they're eau de parfum. So all of the Banana Republic fragrances are eau de parfum. So with a lot of cheapies, you get eau de toilette. Again, they don't smell blended as well because on things like English Laundry, they have several eau de parfum fragrances like London, and they're not really. There's no difference between them and eau de toilette. So in this, you really can tell the difference. Again, it's not a projection piece, but it sits on your skin for a good amount of time. And yeah, highly recommend this. I would say this is probably a 7 out of 10 to me. Just the presentation, the quality. Again, you can have this in the collection and just set this on a shelf and you're good to go. And then if you keep it in the box, if it falls over, it won't break, that kind of thing. Versus finding cheapy fragrances that don't have caps or half sprayed out, that kind of thing. These you'll typically find in plastic, intact, and yeah, definitely a good buy.